Hello everybody, welcome back to Snapshot Streak, where today we'll be looking at snapshot 23W06A, and we're going to be in 3 sections for this snapshot. Firstly, we're going to be in the lab. This will be the first section. Secondly, we're going to be in the Minecraft launch. We're going to be in the Minecraft Create World section because there's some changes there. And then thirdly, we're going to be in the Minecraft launcher. But for now, let's go over some changes. I think I've got everything, so I'm hoping this will be good. Firstly, we start with the jukebox. Now, jukeboxes will now emit a they will now emit a note particle above them when playing a music disc. So I've got Pig Step, one of my favourite discs ever. I'm gonna play it. That's very loud. But as you can see, you know what? Just so we can have that in the background. I'll turn that down. That's still loud. Put it at 4%. How about that? There we go. That's what that. As you can see, look, notes come out of it, and that is because Bedrock edition actually did that. So that's cool. Right, let's go into the options now. Sorry for the for that, but so they added a new option, which I can't find. Where is it? There we go. Damage tilts. So basically, it controls the amount of camera shake when being hurt. So whenever you get hurt, there'll be a bit of a camera shake before it goes back to the original thing. So obviously, you can turn it off, you can turn it on, you can select it to a certain amount. There you go. And they've added a tooltip to the keybind section. Let's get keybinds, I think. There it is. Actually, I'm not even sure that's for it. Tooltips. Oh yeah. No, I remember. Yeah, basically in here, it would tell you if a specific what's it called? If a specific keybind is like conflicting with another one. But anyway, whoops. Where and was the next one? A notification display time accessibility option, which is here. This is now renamed to notification time. So yeah, and also if you didn't know, this affects the length of time that all notifications stay visible on the screen. And you can have this up to 10 times or 0.5. I'm gonna keep it the original bit. I might have it a bit bit higher next time though. Anyway, let's move on to the next thing, I guess. Right now. Hello everybody, welcome back to Snapshot Streak, where today we'll be looking at snapshot 23W06A, and we're going to be in 3 sections for this snapshot. Firstly, we're going to be in the lab. This will be the first section. Secondly, we're going to be in the Minecraft launch. We're going to be in the Minecraft Create World section because there's some changes there, and then thirdly, we're going to be in the Minecraft launcher. But for now, let's go over some changes. I think I've got everything, so I'm hoping this will be good. Firstly, we start with the jukebox. Now, jukeboxes will now emit a they will now emit a note particle above them when playing a music disc. So I've got Pig Step, one of my favourite discs ever. I'm gonna play it. That's very loud. But as you can see, you know what? Just so we can have that in the background. I'll turn that down. That's still loud. Put it at 4%. How about that? There we go. That's what that. As you can see, look, notes come out of it, and that is because Bedrock edition actually did that. So that's cool. Right, let's go into the options now. Sorry for the for that, but so they added a new option, which I can't find. Where is it? There we go. Damage tilts. So basically, it controls the amount of camera shake when being hurt. So whenever you get hurt, there'll be a bit of a camera shake before it goes back to the original thing. So obviously, you can turn it off, you can turn it on, you can select it to a certain amount. There you go. And they've added a tooltip to the keybind section. Let's get keybinds, I think. There it is. Actually, I'm not even sure that's for it. Tooltips. Oh yeah. No, I remember. Yeah, basically in here, it would tell you if a specific what's it called? If a specific keybind is, you know, like conflicting with another one. But anyway, whoops. Where and was the next one? A notification display time accessibility option, which is here. This is now renamed to notification time. So yeah, and also if you didn't know, this affects the length of time that all notifications stay visible on the screen. And you can have this up to 10 times or 0.5. I'm gonna keep it the original bit. I might have it a bit bit higher next time though. Anyway, let's move on to the next thing, I guess. Right now. Right, here we are with the create new world screen. I'm using OBS right now for this, so I'm hoping OBS can record properly, because I don't think it did before. But tabs can now be switched with a keyboard by pressing Control and plus Tab. So you'll press Control and Tab together. That changes there, and you can also use Control Shift and Tab. That goes to there. And also specific tabs can also be navigated to by pressing this certain Control plus tab number. So for example, Control plus 2 takes us to the second tab. They've added a screen to easily basically easily enable and disable experimental features, as you can see there. The screen has always been found under the More tab, as you can see here, and in snapshots, a shortcut button can be found in the Game tab, which I can't really show you because I'm not in game, but you get the gist. Oh, and I forgot to mention, where is it here? Here we go. I meant to mention during when I was in the lab that in the creative inventory had a change where they've added painting variants to functional blocks tab, and now the paintings with predefined variants will now display the author and title and description hovered over. So I couldn't show that, but I'll make sure to show it maybe in the next video, or you can try and find it yourself. Now there's a lot of technical changes, and I mean a lot, so we're going to go through all of them. So they've added display entities for flexible displays of items, blocks and text. They've added a damage command for applying damage to entities. They added a PID file argument to dedicate the server command lines for printing process ID to file. They've added the following game events: entity dismount with vibration frequency of 6, and an entity mount with vibration frequency of 7. Let's just it. There we go. They've added a group of entities to display items, blocks and text. They've added execute summon to allow customization of newly spawned entities. Well, display entities now. 3 new entities have been added for flexible displays of items, blocks and text. Those entities similar to marker don't tick and have no collision of physics. Models render at entity position with normal rotation around X and Y axis, so they can be controlled by teleport commands, but also with additional arbitrary model transform. Common data types. Tag contents for the entities includes some new data types with complex structure. Any form can be used for modifying data, but only one form is used for saving. Right, rotation. The quaternion form, I've no idea to say that, used for saving an array of 4 numbers describing components X, Y, Z, and W. I'm not sure what W would be though. And the axis angle form, the object with following fields. The axis is the 3D vector, and angles in radians. Oh, I think that's how you say it anyway. A lot of the cool names in here I've never heard of. Transformation, arbitrary affine transform. Matrix form is an array of 60 numbers describing a row major matrix. Decomposed form is used for saving an object with following fields. Translation is the 3D vector. Left rotation, right rotation is the rotation. The scale is also the 3D vector. And transforms are composed in order: translation, left rotation, scale, right rotation. Right, let's go to implementation. Some properties of displaying entities can be implemented. That means that clients will see gradual changes over time instead of instantaneous jumps. Display entities keep track of current and previous values of interpolated values. So all properties marked as implemented are part of a single implementation set. Any update implementation property will cause all values of implementation set to be saved as current. Data commands executions that do not change the value of the property, even if it's present as MBT, do not count as updates. Updates are synchronized to client at most once per tick, so multiple updates within commands will still count as single updates. Right. Previous current values, I'll say the previous. If implementation is enabled, entity will transition between previous and current values over time. Start of implementation, entity fully in previous state is defined by the field implementation start, the game time in ticks. It sets -1 to load current game time instead. I don't know why there's a bracket here, by the way. That's a bit random. I think that's a fault that they made in the thing. And the end of implementation, entity for current state, is defined by implementation start plus implementation duration in ticks. Right, let's go to common properties. Every entity and family has the following ticks. Transformation is transformation applied to model after the normal entity orientation, and it defaults to identity. Implemented. Billboards, option to control if entity should pivot to face a character when rendered. Fixed is no rotation to the default. Vertical is entity can pivot around vertical axes. Is that showing up? Oh yeah, it's telling me about a new launch update. I have no idea what's going on there. Horizontal is entity can pivot around horizontal axis. Center is entity can pivot around center point. Brightness, if present, overrides light values used for rendering, omitted by default, which means rendering uses values from entity position. An object has two fields: the sky, which is the value of the skylight, which is 0 to 15, and the block, which is the value of the block light, 0 to 15. View range is the maximum view range of this entity. Actual distance depends on client side, render distance, and entity distance scaling. The default value is 1.0, which is roughly the same as Fireball. I think this is the Fireball entity. Shadow radius is the size of the shadow, and it defaults to 0, no shadow is implemented. Shadow strength is the strength of a shadow, and it controls the opacity of the shadow as a function of distance to block below, and it defaults to 1, which is also implemented. Width and height describe size of culling bounding box. Can't speak. Bounding box spans vertically y to y plus height, and horizontally width divided by 2, I think, in all directions from entity position. If either field is set to 0, culling is disabled, and both default to 0. And color grow override color border color, and defaults to 0. Uses team color. Let's go to item display. Displays a single item stack, and the stack can be changed with command by saying slot inventory.0. Fields. The item is the item stack to display, same format as in inventory. Example, ID, Minecraft dirt, count 1, so that would give you 1 Minecraft dirt. So let's say you did it with a diamond block, it would give you 1 diamond block, stuff like that. Item display displays the item model transformation applied to item as defined in display section in model JSON. Sorry, I think it's actually JSON, but it sounds cool. Values, none, default. Third person left hand, third person right hand, first person left hand, first person right hand, head, GUI, ground, and fixed. Right, block display. Let me just move down here for now. How far are we? That's fine. We'll just do it there. Oh no, we can't see it. I think we're on block display now. Yeah, here we are. Alright, block display, sorry about that. Displays a block state, and it doesn't display block entities even as they're normally be created on block placement like chests, and the fields are block state, which is the block state to display. Same format as item held by an endman. Example, name, Minecraft dirt. Text display, it displays a text component, and the field is text, which is the text display, obviously, and components are resolved with the context of the display of entity. Line width is the line width used to split lines, and note to self with this, new line can also be added with 3Ds, that's amazing, with /n characters, defaults 200. Oh, that's 2 mistakes I've spotted so far now. Text opacity, this is the opacity, alpha component of rendered text, and defaults 255 is interpolated. The background, yep. This is the colour of the background, includes the alpha channel, and defaults to 0 times 4. I'm not sure down the number that is, I'm not going to read that out. That's interpolated. The default background, if true, rendering uses default text background color, same as in chat, and this defaults to false. The shadow, should text be displayed with a shadow, defaults to false. See-through, should text be visible through blocks, defaults to false. Alignment is how text should be aligned. The values are center, default, and left and right. And note, text display backgrounds uses new shader types, render type text background and render type text background see-through. Let me go up a bit here. Right, damage types. So damage types are new registry that can be extended through data packs. A damage type determines how damage is handled by the game. This includes which attributes damage has, as well as which death message is used when it dies due to that type of damage. So for example, extortion 0.1, message ID, arrow, scaling when caused by a living non-player. This is the fields, if you have no idea what I just said there. So the message ID. The message ID uses for deaths caused by damage type, or you combined with other string fragments to form translation keys. So I think that means like it tells you what, like how you died, basically. If you died by a diamond sword or something, or a zombie. Extortion is the amount of hunger extortion caused by this damage type. Scaling is whenever this damage type scales with difficulty levels, possible values, and never. Damage is always the same. Always, damage always scales with difficulty. And when caused by a living non-player, damage scales with difficulty if it's caused by a living entity who is not a player. Effects. Optional fields controlling how damage manifests when inflicted on players. Possible values is hurt, which is default, the default hurt sound. Thorns is the thorns hurt sound. Drowning is a drowning sound. Burning is a single tick of the burning sound. Poking is berry bush poke sound. Freezing is the freeze tick sound. I haven't really heard of that before. I haven't heard of that, but... And death message type is the optional field that controls if a special death message variants are used. And the possible values are default, so there's no special death message logic is applied, and that's the default, of course. You've got full variant, which shows a variant of full damage death instead of regular death message. Example, death, fail, assist item. And intentional game design shows the intentional game design message instead of a regular death message. I can see this being used a lot for silly pranks, but damage type tags control many aspects of how damage from different sources are interpreted. Oh, that just went up there. And now we go into commands. So, damage is the new command to apply damage to entities, and the syntax is damage target amount, damage type at location, or damage target amount, damage type by entity from cause. Parameters are the target, which is the entity to damage, could be like a zombie or something, and the amount is the amount of damage to inflict, which I guess goes from like 1 to the max health that the entity has. The damage type is the type of damage to inflict, and this determines how the damage affects the entity as well as which death message is displayed. Entity is the entity inflicting the damage, which is, you know, obviously like a zombie or something. The cause is the cause of the damage in case of indirect damage. For example, when shot by an arrow, the entity is the arrow projectile, while cause might be the skeleton, basically. Location. The location the damage orients at, where no entity caused damage. For instance, location might represent the location of a bed exploding in the nether. Execute summon. The new execute subcommand for summoning new entity and binding content S to it, meaning to simplify entity setup and reduce need for raw MBT editing. Execute summon entity ID. And predicates is the damage type predicates. The following fields have been removed from damage type predicates: is projectile, is explosion, bypasses armor, bypasses vulnerability, bypasses magic, is fire, is magic, and is lightning. A new tags array has been added. Each entry has 2 fields. It's ID, the ID of the damage type tag, and expected, whenever the damage is expected to have or not have the tag for the predicate to match. And I got game rules, which adds a do vine spread game rule, depending if vines were spread to nearby blocks, and defaults true. I can see this being used very much by me if I was to use vines. And guess what? Those bug fixes? No. I thought Mojang was lazy, man. I thought they were lazy. Anyway, that's it. I'm gonna go properly record a confidential, and then go do some exercise.